Wagwan guys, today I'm going to talk about 7 financial lessons that I learned from Money Heist, La Casa de Papel series. You remember this song? Na Christina, na Christina, na Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao. I don't know the lyrics word for word. It's not my language. It's not a language I speak. But just to give you that idea of that movie, if you've not seen it, it's an amazing movie. I was just thinking about Money Heist the other day, and it hits me that this show is not just about gun and red jumpsuit. If you pay close attention, it is packed with real money lessons, stuff I wish I learned earlier as at when I watch it. For example, take this professor, for example. That guy didn't just wake up and say, hey, let's rob the royal mint. No, he planned for everything, every move, every reaction, even down to what to do when somebody sneezes. That made me think about how most of us handle our money. We don't really plan. We just earn and spend. No budget, no roadmap, nothing. So we need to make that adjustment. That was me too. I used to just wing things. I would get paid and then start spending it. Bachelor life, I'm a bachelor. Grocery shopping, date more enjoyment. It's not like I felt I was spending money, wasting it. I don't really lavish money, but somehow I just spend the money without being able to track it. Then the mid-month or when there is no project, freelancing, there is ups and downs. When there is no project, I suddenly feel like, I've locked my savings and now I feel broke. And sometimes confused. But if the professor can plan a full-blown heist down to every last seconds, what is stopping us from planning our own finances? Budgeting is not hard. Just write down what's coming in and what is going out and what you want to save. That is it. That's how you avoid surprises. You're getting notification that your balance is too low or insufficient fund when you want to make payments. Now think about the team. Tokyo, Nairobi, Berlin, and Devon. Each person had a role. They weren't all doing the same thing. And that is another lesson right there from Money Heist series. Don't just depend on one skill or one job. I'm a freelancer. I'm a content creator. I make money from that. I also write on blogs and get a bit of ghostwriting jobs sometimes. I'm presently working on one. I also get video editing jobs from Upwork. I don't do just one thing. I'm experimenting with a 9-to-5 too and I realized that I could balance my freelancing and every other thing I do, like even with a 9-to-5 job, and it's working for now. If it ceases to work, I would run. Okay, there was a time I relied only on freelance video editing gigs. If I don't get jobs on Upwork, I know fish up. But when I started adding other things, I started doing ghostwriting and digital strategy, content, and a lot of other things. As in, more doors open. That is what people call multiple stream of income. Tokyo knew how to shoot. Nairobi handled the printing, and the professor, he was the brain. Be the professor of your own finances, diversifying your skills. Add one or more income stream to what you already have now, even if it is small. Don't worry, it will grow. There was a time my YouTube channel that you're watching right now gives me just maybe like $15 for a whole month. Full month, $15. That's all I made. There was even a time I made $0 for a whole month. It took me maybe 7 to 9 months or thereabout before I got monetized. Do you get? So that was making $0, and then I was still showing up as frequently, almost daily as I can. Do you understand? Then now it's almost becoming something more substantial. Though it doesn't match my other source of income, but it's something. Another thing I picked from the professor is how calm that guy stayed when things go wrong. You remember that scene when one of the hostages escaped and everything just started to fall apart? The professor didn't scream. He just paused, took a deep breath, and adjusted the plan. That's exactly how to handle money issues. Or not even just money issues, wahala generally. I remember this story of how when I just started driving, maybe some 4 years or 5 years ago or so. It was maybe my first week of driving. I had my license. So I was driving somehow, let me cut the long story short, I crashed the Range Rover Sport and discovered that Range Rover Sport belongs to a general. It was a very, very small scratch. Guess what? That Range Rover Sport was new. They want to go and deliver it to him. And there was a Benz in front, a Benz ML, and another car, I think, Mozu, that was going in front. So they parked and came back to assess. The soldier guys walked towards me. I was a bit scared, but then I was calm. I went down and the guy was like, let me see your license. I just spoke very calmly to the guy. I think they are gentlemen, maybe not about how calmly I spoke, but I was calm in the situation and I said that whatever it is, I'm going to sort this. When clients ghosted me after leaving a big project, especially when it's not an Upwork project and I'm almost lost in it, like, this client will not pay. Most times I get clients to pay me before I work on their projects, but then after developing some relationship, for example, I have a client I'm supposed to send an invoice to as of today, but because he has not completely revised the job, I want him to revise the job, be satisfied before I send him an invoice. So those kind of time, and I need money. Like, I just focus on what I can control. Things like, what other income source can I pull from for now? Do you understand? That is where having an emergency fund and other income source actually comes in. Even if it is just a saving of 20K, 30K, 300K, that small money can help you stay sane when you are trying to figure things out, or probably you just want to leave your job, maybe because it's annoying or affecting your mental health or for whatever reason. You can know that, okay, if you leave this job today, maybe like after serving them the due notice, you know you have something to fall back on before you get your next job or before you sort yourself out with the next thing to do. Then you also see how trust was a big issue in the Money Heist. Some people betrayed the team. Others made decisions without telling the professor. And because of that, things nearly crashed for all of them, not just that person that made the wrong decision. Money-wise, there is a warning. If you are going into business with friends or you are running something as a team, don't leave things hanging in the air. Have clear terms. Who is putting what in? What are you doing? Who is doing what? Get everything on paper and be clear. Like, okay, this is our agreement, this is the basis of our collaboration, this is what you get, this is what I get, in terms of maybe percentages, or you guys just agree on that. Okay, if we want to end this relationship, how do we go about it? Don't assume that the relationship won't end. Have a written contract. Then there is also a thing about delayed gratification in Money Heist. You know, Nairobi and the rest could have easily taken the money already printed in the vault, but they waited. Why? Because printing their own gave them more. You know, I used to struggle with this too. Anytime I have money, I just want to feel like I have money right now, that how much is Lamborghini that I cannot buy. But real wealth is about waiting, saving, investing, saying no to something small now so you can get something much bigger later. That is one of the most important money habits anyone can learn, especially if you are a freelancer or entrepreneur. You are not getting paid every Friday or month end, so you don't spend like you would get a salary. You understand what I'm talking about? Life is not predictable. Even in Money Heist, they planned and still things went sideways, and that can happen in business, that can happen in entrepreneurship, that can happen as a freelancer. I was telling a friend yesterday or day before about how I spent a lot of money in dollars on a particular new e-commerce business structure I was trying to build, and after spending money halfway, feeling that I've stretched myself a bit too much, I realized that I need even more money to actually get things jump started at the scale I want. Because you can see in Money Heist, professors and the rest of them, they had backup plans. They kept going even when things went south. So same thing with money. Maybe your client just suddenly disappeared, maybe your salary got delayed, and that is why it is smart to plan for the unexpected. Have a backup, whether that is your money put in Piggyvest or on all these platforms, RiseVest, Bamboo and the rest. You should have financial friends. That is what I call it. Like friends that I can pick up my phone and say, hey, my guy, Alpha, I need 100K. I have 50K. Okay, send 50K. Then I pick up my phone and call another person. I need 50K. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you should have guys that you can call that way and they call you. The problem is that many people don't have those kind of relationship, but because the first time they borrowed K from their friend, they did not return it. For those who return it, the friend had to like remind them, more like tell them of his own problem before they are able to return the money they borrowed from. That is wrong. Okay, let's leave that out. Then it could be insurance for some advanced countries. It could be your small savings, or even just another skill you can fall back on. So don't wait till it's raining to start building a roof over your head. That's just what I would say in maybe like adage form. One last thing I would like to share with you, and this one is quite big. Some people in Money Heist movie got rich, but they actually lost their mind. They had money, but they had no peace. They didn't even know what they were fighting for anymore. That taught me that money without purpose is empty. Vanity upon vanity. You should not keep shifting the goalpost. You know, some of you like have the mindset of like, if I can make 20 million this month, I will be a very happy person. Then when they start making 20 million, they shift the goalpost. If I can make 100 million, and they forget that there was a time when making 2 million was a big problem for them. They keep shifting the goalpost, and those kind of persons will never be happy in their life because they will keep shifting the goalpost. So you need to learn to be contented. It's not that when you make the 20 million that you sleep, no, but you need to be contented and then still keep making the right moves. It's just about the right mindset. You can ask yourself, what do I want money to do for me? Is it to take care of my family? Is it for me to have more freedom? Is it for me to be able to travel more without stress? Is it for me to have security that I can get anything I want? Whatever that is for you, when you know that, and you will not idolize money too in the real sense of it. So yeah, Money Heist isn't just an entertaining movie because it actually is very entertaining. Another movie I think I really love like that is A Man Called God. I don't know if you've seen A Man Called God, Peter Pan, Shankanta. Maybe I'm going to like draw out lesson from that too and share with you. If you would like me to do that, please hit the like button and comment in the comment section below. Money Heist, which is what I know it as, is actually full of a lot of lessons about financial discipline, saving money, managing risk, and building wealth step by step. So start with what you have, plan like the professor, build like Nairobi, think ahead like Berlin, and never forget real freedom isn't about having money. It's about knowing how to keep it. Then one last thing, because of the movie I'm using for this illustration, I'm a big proponent of making money legitimately, not by planning a heist. I'm just using that as an anecdote to explain money concepts to you. Make money legitimately, you would have peace of mind. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.